Hey guys, welcome back to FutureSight. I'm Writer Joey.
And I'm Maxon.
Before we get into the episode, I'd just like to get a few small things covered. First things first, I'd like to actually give out a huge shout out to Pokébeach. I'm going to be putting a link to his channel down in the description. We've actually seen a huge climb in subscribers since he actually gave us a shout out on the Six Prizes main page. So I'd just like to say, well, thanks for that. It's highly appreciated. Hopefully we're returning the favour now. The next thing I want to cover is a small point. One of our viewers, Super Pokéguitar 13, actually dropped us a question. I don't want to answer it in just comments because that would have just been my answer. I wanted him to receive both mine and Max's answer for this. It's mostly just asking our opinion on the Empoleon Terrakion deck. He or she seems to be having some success with it. I was just wondering on our take of it. My personal opinion on it is, as it stands in the current format, it is a good deck. Zekrom Eels does give it a really hard time, but the Terrakion can incredibly cover that for you. It has the capability, to be fast, well managed. It's got everything it needs. And heading into Black and White, even though it doesn't have basic search anymore, well, that much basic search anymore, it still doesn't lose a lot. It still should remain one of the faster decks in format. Well, that's my opinion. Maxen?
Well, I've always liked Empoleon itself as a card. It's basically Hoggle Soul Silver Jumpluff, but with a good ability, or with an ability. I think it is a good deck. I won't beat around the bush about that. I do like because obviously it's made to combat eels, which I have to admit isn't the Terrakion part of it is made to combat eels, but the deck as itself. I mean, eels has seen a lot less play recently, so it's probably had much easier matchups than what it probably was initially thought of playing, because initially all meta was predicted to be Zekrom Eels. So I'm guessing because what's what I'm looking for? Less play, there's fewer Zekrom decks in play. It's probably going to see a lot more success.
It should do. So, Super Pokéguitar, if you're actually, if you're actually watching this episode, I hope we've answered your question. I'd just like to actually say though, I actually wanted to use this as a small lead-in. In the future, if you have any questions for me and Maxen, whether it be to both of us in general or one of us, specifically, if you want to start popping them down in the comments, we're gonna try and actually make a new segment called Viewers Corner. Basically, we'll answer your questions. We know you'll be getting the content you want that way. Well, with that announced, there's just one more thing, and that's actually viewer requests. So we will be taking them. We've always been open to them. We've only ever had one before now, and that's this episode. If you feel there's a card coming up sometime soon that you feel that might change the meta, if you want to let us know, if you want to request us to actually review that card, we'll give a good shot for you. If we can make a decent episode out of it, we will. Not
like base set Rattata or anything like that.
I like that, right? I'll leave it alone.
Okay, you do an episode on it, we'll see how far you get.
It'll be mostly on artwork, to be honest.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, it will be, as we said, we will tend to focus on upcoming formats. We're not against doing anything that's just come into format, or any new deck that's just come out of nowhere. We will do just current and future, but we're not really looking at past cards at this current moment.
Yeah, I don't think many people have much interest in past cards anyway.
Well, there's maybe in the collectors section a bit. But anyway, with that announced, let's get on to today's episode. This one's actually a request from a viewer of ours called Milky Chips, actually a recent subscriber, and he's wanted us to cover Vileplume.
Vileplume!
From Freeze Bolt and Cold Flare. As per usual, Vileplume is a Stage 2 Pokemon, Grass-type Pokemon. It's got 140 hit points, and one ability, one attack, 2 times weakness to fire, resists water for -20, and has a retreat cost of 3. Firstly, I'll cover the attack. For grass and triple colour, so you can use Pollen Spray. It does 50 damage, and you have guaranteed poison and sleep. on the defending Pokemon. The major reason you'll want to run this card though, I see being its ability, Allergy Panic. As long as Vileplume is in play, all weaknesses are ×4 instead of the usual ×2. Now, my personal opinion on what this Vileplume can do to them is like the reason I actually see it being a noteworthy card is mostly just the fact that it changes magic numbers. I mean, like Max, since the Emerging Powers section, since the Emerging Powers set was released, you've noted you actually were the first one to coin the phrase magic numbers for us.
I don't think it was the first one, maybe in the local meta, but...
You're the first person I ever heard actually refer to magic numbers.
Okay.
Back in Emerging Powers, it was 130. If you didn't get the one shot on Gothitelle, it didn't go down. It then later, turned around with the release of X's. People think the magic number would become 180. It was actually the magic number became 90. Get the 190 over a 2-shot. 180 over 2-shot, sorry. With Vileplume giving Pokemon a weakness that's 4 times, with this out you can actually have a magic number as low as 50. If you hit for weakness 50, it pretty much takes out anything. If you hit for weakness 50, pretty much takes out anything. It's like Darkrai down to 50. Most of the Dragon X is down to 50. Sigley, that's coming out in next set. Charge up, it one-shots Mewtwo. As I said, it's like 50 becomes a brand new magic number for this. And like 50 isn't really a hard number to hit. I mean, it's especially with the mild power creep we've had. The mild power creep we've had for evolutions, it used to be kind of difficult to hit. 60 for a very low energy requirement, but 50 has always been quite easy for the last couple of formats.
That's true.
I mean, look at one of our pet cards. I'm just using an example. I'm not saying it's the key card to use with Vileplume, but look at Excadrill. It's 2 for 50 and pick up anything from your discard pile.
I'm sorry, which Excadrill?
Oh, set. Damn you. Somebody's only just pointed out to have game knowledge on this as well. Pretty sure it's Dark Explorers. Yeah, the Dark Explorers Excadrill number 56, I believe. Yes, 56 out of 108. With that Excadrill, as I said, you're doing 250, pick up anything from your discard pile. Meaning, as we covered back in our Excadrill episode, Catcher, use it as much as you want. Enough said, really. They can't hide things on the bench. Dark is going to be pretty highly played in this format.
Yeah, especially with that kind of combo, it means you can one-shot Darkrai with the Eviolite.
And the great thing is though, the 2 energies on the field, if you're using party hats, XP share. Party hats for everyone! If you're using XP share, then all you need to do is make sure upcoming Excadrill has the XP share on and you have an energy in hand. There you go.
Yeah, in a way it's sort of similar to Slatehouse 2 Mono Terrakion, I guess.
It is quite close to that. I mean, there is the fact that we're also going to have a strong dragon presence in format, with the upcoming rotation. The thing is, the way I see it, you could easily, quite easily cover that. You've got the blend energy for fighting, also covers electric.
Oh, the new Rayquaza.
The Rayquaza 1 for 40. The most common dragons you're going to see isn't actually Rayquaza X, it's Garchomp and Hydreigon paired alongside Darkrai. Well, you drag out Hydreigon, 1 for 40 is now 1 for 160. Even those impressive hit points it has, they count for nothing. And Garchomp, it's pretty much the same story. It's got 100 and... Is it 130 or 140 on Garchomp? 130. 140. So it's 140 there, so you're still 20 short. Even Large Mantle doesn't save it.
And then point to note out is that the Sableye will still remain, will still be immune to all effects, so you will have to find a way to kill that.
True. I'm not saying it's perfect. I mean, this is just an example of how numbers could be used.
No, I mean, we've discussed this at quite a lengthy time when we first saw the set release.
Well, your computer did.
Well, yeah. We were looking at Pokemon who, very small basic Pokemon like Pachirisu or Lapras, who could basically hit whatever matchup you're up against and one-shot them. Was what we were planning to do with Vileplume. Some other people thought of using evolutions in a similar fashion.
I can see the logic there. The problem with the evolutions is, like, most people are looking for other evolutions. I mean, a big problem with actually a lot of the ideas is, like, you're looking for these magic numbers to hit, pretty much anything. And I think that's the wrong way to build any kind of toolbox, mostly because you're only going to have certain dominant types in format at a time. Because your dominant
certain dominant weaknesses in the format.
Oh yeah, that too. I mean, that your dominant your dominant weaknesses will decide a dominant type as well. You know what I mean? It'll be the third deck out of 3. It always seems to be a big 3. People complain about it. There are other decks. It's just these big 3 are the most popular. Enough on that. Well, as I said, it's most popular. That's why they're more successful. If a lot more people played tier 2, then tier 2 wouldn't be tier 2 anymore.
Maybe.
For example, Vanillux.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, back onto topic. With the whole hitting everything for weakness, a lot of things you'd only really need to get to 1 to 30, because a magic number for all stage 2 seems to be around 120. Maybe pack up a plus bar also, just in case that number's slightly off. But you only need small dragons for taking out dragons. You're going to need fighting types to take out darks, an electric type for taking out Empoleon. So let's see, we've not really got a dragon type evolution, so that doesn't work. There's no fighting type evolution, so that doesn't really work. We have an electric one, we have Jolteon.
I think it's something interesting we saw was the from the new set, the new Blastoise and the new Keldeo. And a lot of people online are already making decks based around the 2. It's a very Keldeo basically has a very high Hydro Pump style attack, where it does damage and more damage for extra water. And the new Blastoise is basically base set Blastoise.
Yeah.
Vileplume shuts down the whole deck by itself, and I thought that was pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, 4 energy for 50. That might be why its cost is so high.
Because it hits Keldeo, one-shots Keldeo, it one-shots Blastoise as well.
Oh, because he's weak to grass. Yeah.
So for that might be worth mentioning.
That's more than worth mentioning. I hadn't even seen it because I've not really been looking that way. Because I personally don't see Rain Dance doing that well.
Well, it's the same boat as Rashibor, except no. But yeah, it's basically like Rashibor, except it doesn't have to get rid of its resources.
But it's also going to have the same weaknesses as Rashibor, so it's going to be really prone to capture. It's also
Keldo's ability stops that.
Oh yeah, it can jump out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is how much attention I've been paying to this deck. It just doesn't seem highly viable to me. I don't know why. It just doesn't. It's like I have a certain pleasure spot. It's not hitting it. You know what I mean? It looks like those one of those decks that on paper it's amazing, but in practice it ends up falling short for some reason or other. Like I could see a lot of people not getting the 4th energy, because Keldeo is 4 for its attack, isn't it? 3. 3 colours.
Yeah.
All right. Still, it's going to be quite easy to miss the energy requirement, especially mid to late game. Actually, but you'll have a lower chance of drawing the energy early game and mid to late game. If you had the energy early game, then you've not got it mid game.
It's just discard its energy, it keeps it.
Thinking mostly along the lines of knockouts and stuff like that.
That's true.
It's I'm not saying it's awful. I mean, if you want to test it, definitely go for it. I'll encourage anyone to try something different and something new. I just personally don't. It's not one of my favourite ideas.
Not a fan of My Little Pony.
Oh, Brony, I'm a stallion. I still don't understand that at all.
I don't understand this at all. Best quote it.
Because it's a meme. I'm allowed memes.
But as I said, the Vileplume deck itself, it also, I believe Terrakion is weak to grass as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's actually going to be a bench sitter that, if you can afford to put energy on it, can be more than a bench sitter. I like this. I like this a lot.
I should probably mention it does have a Blossom to run alongside it.
Yeah, and that Blossom must be the happiest little guy ever.
I don't know. Charon's pretty happy.
Who?
Charon. We don't have one in the set. We know Charon.
I thought you. I was talking about in the set. Have I missed something here?
I don't know. Squirtle's pretty happy.
Oh yeah. He's just making a mess over there.
But the Blossom, unlike the Vileplume, actually has some pretty decent costing attacks.
Let's see, Grass Knots, it's 10 plus 20 for every energy required for the defending Pokemon to retreat. That's for Grass. Let's see, that's 3 to retreat, so that's going to be 70. Well, it one-shots Terrakion without Vileplume's help for 1 Grass energy. Anyone object? No, thought so.
Also, one-shot Blastoise.
Taking it, Blastoise has a heavy retreat cost as well.
It's a Blastoise.
Oh yeah, so
I think it's 3 as well, so...
I'm just scrolling down now. Chose them to be in opposite sets.
So, left, Blastoise.
Yeah, I can retreat cost of 4. Blastoise is out of here. You're doing 40 more than you need to, yeah, but Blastoise is out of here. Actually, I can check that Coldeo while I'm here. Oh, it's 50 plus 20.
Yes.
So if it's all water on him, it'd be 110.
That's just to pay to his attack.
That's not too bad.
Actually, it's very similar to Gothitelle.
Actually, yeah. Except the base is a lot higher.
Well, yeah,
See, base is a lot higher, and the actual increment is lower. Also, another card I think could be mentioned for this. You know, if you're not really a fan of running the Blossom,
Blossom has a second attack.
Well, yeah, we only need the first one to do what it needs to do.
Oh.
And do you really want an attack that guarantees confusion for free energy when you can get all the work done on one? And this is mostly it leads on to another card we can actually use for the make use of from the set. The same set does include the Celebi X, which means if you can't get the energy out for Vileplume's Pollen Spray, would be 4 energy, it's pretty heavy for it. You've still actually got a 2 energy and a 3 energy attack for the Gloom underneath it. I mean, you can guarantee confusion on both the opponent and you, or you can use Poison Powder for 40 damage and guaranteed poison on them. Under 4 times weakness,
160.
Is 160, and actually clocks up to 170 if there's any extra 170 hit points that's weak to grass. But yeah, it does actually put some use on the Celebi X as well. If you're not a fan of Blossom, I could see the appeal of this. I mean, good artwork, great attacks. The Gloom's already in the natural line. It saves you going for one or the other. But I can see coming down to personal preference which route you take. Either running the Celebi X to make use of Gloom, or if you'd run the Blossom, because that way you don't need to actually have this thing that could give up 2 prizes, and it's a decent secondary attacker. And Max has gone completely up with it.
No, it's just very interesting things. The point, I think the Celebi might not synergize with the rest of the deck depending on how you play it. If you played it with the basic kind of engine, then obviously
then it only has sort of one purpose of being a get out of jail free card for Vileplume.
But again, Vileplume is one of these cards that seems to have a lot of potential to do stuff.
True, and that is one thing I am liking about it right now. It's
the other thing is that it does depend on how you will pilot the deck. If you will run it so that you can hit every deck for weakness, or just run it to
hit key decks.
Yeah.
So it's basically do you pilot for the overall meta, or do you hit to key?
Effectively. But again, I do like the idea of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, as you said, I think the key word for this Vileplume has to be potential. It's all there. It's like, oh well, little guys can now do big work. It's like, I mean, another thing to point out is actually like some of your basic attacks. It's like, normally it's like 1 energy to do 10 damage. It's like, ooh, wow, that's amazing, isn't it? And even if you hit for weakness, it's like, wow, plus 10. But really, like, early game, say you get all the resources for a Vileplume, but nothing else, so you're still stuck, poking away with your basic. If you're hitting for weakness, that 1 for 10 is now 1 for 40, which, that's what I like to call the pre-release gold standard. If you're in a pre-release and you get a lot of guys that can hit 40 for 1 energy, you're set for the game. That's, as I said, something pre-release gold standard. It's like it still gives you a good chance to actually fight back. Also, while you mentioned it, let's go with the 1x to rule them all. Explain it.
Oh, right. Well, it's just me rambling now, okay. The Landorus X, because are we doing a whole review, or am I just randomly rambling for the pre-release?
I just want you to actually mention the 1x to rule them all.
Well, I wouldn't say the 1x, I think Darkrai and Mewtwo are way up there, but Landorus...
I mean, for, in pre-release, your last pre-release,
pre-release
strategy.
Oh, the strategy, right, okay.
Yeah, what you did last
well, during our last pre-release, I probably may as well do the whole thing now. Me and the Raptor 11, we opened up packs. We got an X, I got a Entei, you got a Kaiga, and the rest of our packs were pretty bad. We had some one-off lines, 3 1s and all this very, very bad stuff. So we both, I decided, I think we both decided, we're going to, because obviously the way we saw how we were going to do is to get your X out as fast as possible. And what's the fastest way to do this? Have it as your starting Pokemon. And how do you always start with the one Pokemon you want? Have no other Pokemon in your deck. It turned what could have been a very bad pre-release into a very hilarious pre-release. It meant every game we started with the 1x we wanted, every time.
But effectively, you're also playing sudden death every game.
Yeah, but with the new Landorus X, which unlike the Entei or the Kyogre, has a decent array of attacks. So its first attack is for 1 fighting energy, it does 30 to the active Pokemon and 30 to the benched Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And its second attack, I believe, is it fighting double colorless or double fighting colorless?
Double fighting colorless, that's why I don't really like the drawback.
Does 80 plus 70 if you discard all fighting energy attached to him.
And, as I've said to you about that, I really do not see the synergy in those numbers. I don't like the idea of
it's 80, a lot of X's of 80 HP. There's numbers, sets of KOs.
Yeah, it's a lot of sets up though. But yeah, I see where you're coming from. So now I want to see guys, next time you go to the pre-release, just comment on one of our vids. Just let us know if you actually tried using the 1x strategy. I want to see how far this can go.
Sudden death.
Sudden death every game. Although I do like the last pre-release we had. I believe Evolutions won, didn't we?
Oh,
did you? Of course, please think of a one. But yeah, I think we've both rambled enough. Is there anything else we might have missed on Vileplume? Do you think of anything?
Not particularly. I mean, if there's any particular Pokemon, I mean, we've done some research and we've pretty much got a Pokemon for every type, so if anyone needs help in that department, they can probably just post a comment or something other than that.
True, there's also the fact that, we can actually do it in a viewer's corner.
Yeah, I don't think
if people start asking for it, we can leave a list on the screen and they can just pause and read up on it while we explain it.
I don't think there's anything you really cover for this format. As again, we're not getting Vileplume for a while, and we will be black and white onwards at that point. So.
Oh yeah, I think if I've got this right, it's going to be about 4 or 5 months before we get it.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, well, we're a month off of our next set, and it's the set after, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, but still, this gives people time to start planning, and also gives the viewers time to start asking. Get asking, guys. Anyway, with that said, we'll let everyone get back to their lives. Until next time, I've been Writer Joey.
I'm still Maxon.
If you like what you've seen, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, stay in the top %.